Welcome to the Real Estate Espresso Podcast, your morning shot of what's new in the world of real estate investing. I'm your host, Victor Menashe. On today's show, we're talking about the great ideological debate about help, government help. Our economy has suffered the largest fall in activity in recorded history. All of this in the name of saving lives. Economic suffering is preferable to death. Although I've heard a few people articulate that some death is acceptable as long as it's someone else's death. There are over 40 million people in the U.S. newly unemployed as a result of the pandemic. It's not clear how many have been rehired. There's more than 7 million in Canada who have received some form of government assistance. The payroll protection program in the U.S. kept a number of people employed at businesses that were forced to shut down or facing reduced revenue. And now that these government dollars have been largely exhausted, it's not clear whether these people will be kept on the payroll. A study by Forbes in 2019 found that 78% of workers were living paycheck to paycheck. That is, they had essentially zero financial buffer. A more recent study by the Nielsen Group showed that 74% of all employees were living paycheck to paycheck, and almost 3 in 10 adults had no emergency savings at all. The fact is, there's no good solution to the pandemic. We have a genuine pandemic on our hands. The art is in finding the least worst solution. Governments have tried to protect the public from the pandemic by imposing restrictions on movement, which has obviously hurt the economy. They've tried to compensate with financial assistance. So here we are, 4 months into a pandemic and 3 months into a steep economic downturn. The political appetite for opening the government coffers and showering the population with cash seems to be softening. But those 3/4 of the population who are living paycheck to paycheck are still living paycheck to paycheck. They haven't magically amassed a war chest of cash in the last few months. Some people believe that we just need to reopen the economy and let the economy take care of itself. There are those who believe the government should not be printing money to help those whose income was affected by the pandemic. They're mortgaging the future of our nation for the sake of a few weeks of artificially inflating lifestyles that were overextended to begin with. Some believe that government help breeds dependence. Some believe that people are hurting and they genuinely need government help and they need it now. Some believe that as our economy changes, many repetitive jobs are being replaced by a piece of hardware, and we need universal basic income to provide for our population. Some believe that our aging population is a financial ticking time bomb as the unfunded liabilities of our pension systems reaches a tipping point. Some believe that our economy will bounce back as soon as people are allowed to get back to work. After all, they do want to work. They don't want to sit at home watching movies all day. Well, guess what? If you're looking, you'll find multiple examples to support all these arguments. They're all valid, but not universally true. More importantly, I'm seeing people expend tremendous amounts of energy and time talking about what someone else should do. The government should do something. Big business should step in and help. The landlord should give the tenants a break. You see, economic activity is not the result of money being dumped into the economy. It's the result of money circulating in the economy. And if government gives me a check for $1,000 and I put $800 towards rent and spend the rest on groceries, that money isn't doing much for the economy. If instead, I come across a problem that needs to be solved and people are willing to spend money to solve it, then I have an opportunity to generate income. And if it's a big problem, I'll need help. And then I can hire people and put them to work on solving that problem too. Now that's starting to feel like economic activity and money circulating through the economy. After all, isn't that one of the fundamentals of business? In fact, it's more acutely true today than at any other time in history. If people are working from their home office, they're not going out for dinner or a show. It should come as no surprise that perfume sales are down. It's a product that simply isn't going to be in demand at the moment. People who are stuck at home are spending money on home improvement. They're building a new deck in the backyard, a new bookcase for the home office, maybe a swimming pool. That's why there's more deck material being sold than perfume. Now, since the start of the pandemic, I've focused on ensuring our existing projects can survive the economic conditions. That means some projects are continuing in construction and some are being paused until conditions improve. The focus remains on protecting investor investments. Once that was done, the focus shifted to value creation. What problems need to be solved? Where do we have assets that we can leverage to create value and solve some real problems? While some people are at home watching movies, I'm busier than I've been in a long time. We still have a number of active projects and we're still attracting investment. Using your personal sense of agency is the key to getting the economy going again, but only for the things that are needed now. As you think about that, have an awesome rest of your day. Go make some great things happen. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.